What would it profit? Ooh, profit a man to gain this world, lose his soul. No, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Yeah.
The fire is lit, here come the smoke. Bishop brother is on, here come the hope. On the real, oh yeah, this on the real. With Bishop brother, no they never quick to judge it. Plenty covered, yeah they talk about issues from their view. And they welcome all, they're not defined by their hue. Oh no, they're just speaking of their truth. Be sure to like and subscribe and tune in, you see the fire in their eyes.
All right, we're back with another fun one.
Oh man, you guys are gonna love this.
Yeah, we hope.
Or not. You
Yeah.
might not. You might.
But-
This might be our. If this is your last one with us, thank you for giving
Yeah.
us a listen.
Hey, but Gen Z's got our back. They got
That's
our
right.
back.
No, they're good. Thanks for stopping by again. We really appreciate all the support and the love. If you could, whether you're listening on the podcast here on Spotify or on YouTube, checking out the video, please give us that like, that follow, that subscribe. It does a lot for us. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave a comment. You can leave whether do you like English breakfast or Irish breakfast? I mean, if you like English breakfast, something's wrong with your taste buds. I don't know what to tell you, but you need to work on that. Anyway, that being said, we're gonna talk about Marvel Jesus
All
today.
right, Marvel Jesus. So, okay, you and your beloved son went and did some forget research. You went and did some investigative.
Yeah, we did some investigative reporting. So right after Blue Jesus, the whole baby on a platter thing at the Olympics, the very next thing that apparently all Christians, apparently we're not real Christians,
No.
all the real Christians were offended by the Deadpool movie. And when I first read that headline, I'm like, okay, well, Deadpool is crass.
Mm.
Like if you know anything about the Marvel universe and you followed Deadpool for any amount of time, you know that he is the rated R character in Marvel, in the Marvel universe. So I was like, yeah, they're definitely going to be offended by some of the things my man says, right? Like they're going to be very upset. Like if you're a sensitive type Christian, Deadpool ain't for you. Like please don't go see that movie. You're going to be offended, and that's fine. You can be offended, as is your right in this country. But one thing was said by Deadpool in the movie, and it almost got as big as Blue Jesus was Marvel Jesus. So let me set the stage for you. So in this, I don't want to give any spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie, but there's a scene where Deadpool is talking with someone, and Deadpool's being given this like really great opportunity to go be like this huge character in this universe. I'm trying to say this without giving away spoilers. It's a little difficult actually.
Yeah.
But he gives, he basically he's given this really great opportunity to be someone of very serious importance. And he says, I am Marvel Jesus. And the TikTok went crazy over this. People were storming out of the movie. Some people were storming out of the movie. We'll talk about that in a second. Some people did say they heard that, they got up and left. Other people said, they heard that, they were kind of offended by it, but they didn't leave. And we're going to talk about that in a second too. But the thing I want to focus on today is Marvel Jesus. I don't know, Bishop. How do you feel that Deadpool called himself Marvel Jesus? How does that work for you?
It doesn't bother me at all.
You're not going to do a TikTok on it and storm out?
It doesn't bother me at all because one, I guess I'm aging myself and how I frame things. One thing, I just know a few facts.
Okay.
One,
A couple things.
I drove in a car, or maybe my truck, but a vehicle,
Okay.
and I came to this thing called a movie theater.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I got out, got some fat corn.
Yeah,
Not popcorn, fat corn.
Yeah, we can't play. Yeah.
Got the fat corn.
Nachos.
Bought a ticket.
Yeah.
Went in this little space with a bunch of seats in it.
Mm-hmm.
Was nothing on the screen, and I knew no matter what was shown, that it was not real, that it was fake. So in my mind, no matter what was said, no matter what's been used, I know whatever is said is it come from a something called breaking news, a script.
What?
That some writer that's not called Paul or James or John or David or Moses. What it might be. I shouldn't say it because I don't know.
They might be.
Yeah, they might have a name, one of them names. But I knew it wasn't. They was not over 1,000 years old. I know. I can say that's factual. I know they're not 1,000 years old.
All right, that's fair.
Somebody wrote this, and a line was said. So, you know how many times that I walked into things and see. But I know what I'm watching is a movie. I know what I'm watching is art. I know what I'm watching is, watch out, not the F word you think about. Fictional.
I thought you were going to say
it's fictional. Fictional doesn't mean like you said, shut the front door.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah. It's fictional, right?
Yeah.
It's not based on any form, fashion, iota of reality. So no, I've learned in my life that if I'm gonna get offended, I'm going to make sure I get my full payment in full. I'm not gonna get offended by some thing that I know that I know when I'm walking into is
right,
not real. So
I think it.
Actually, I say it's kind of funny and ingenious.
Yeah.
Based on what I'm gonna say about it, but no.
I mean, go see the movie, and I think once you see the whole movie, him saying that in that universe is completely legit. But he's saying it in a movie, in a universe, by a person that does not exist. They're not real outside of that screen and the mind of the creator. That's it. It's not real. So. Here's the funny thing to me. Before that happened, because this is probably, I don't know, 20 minutes into the movie when this happens. Before that, Deadpool does and says some things that if you're gonna be sensitive and you're gonna be offended by everything that comes out of every fake character's mouth, I probably would have got up and stormed out long before.
You got the Jesus.
The Jesus thing.
You wouldn't have made Jesus.
I wouldn't have made it to Jesus, right? Like, okay, again, I don't want to give away the movie, but there are some vulgar, very Deadpool. If you understand Deadpool in the series, very Deadpoolish things that occur before he says this that are way worse. It involves murder, sexual content. I mean, there are so many other things that you could be offended by. But you sat through all that, no problem. No problem with that. But Marvel Jesus was your line. That's the line you picked. Marvel Jesus over... I don't want to say I don't want to give away the movie, but I promised myself no spoilers, right? Yeah. So I'm trying real hard. All the things that he did up to that point, none of that bothered you. Marvel Jesus was your line. And then for those of you that stayed, you watched that whole movie. Which I did. I watched the whole. It was a good movie. I thought, you got to have certain sensibilities. It ain't for everyone. Just like every movie ain't for everyone.
Right.
I think the Ten Commandments, I know people are really not going to like this. I think the Ten Commandments is a dumb movie. I don't like that movie. But if that works for you, if, Charlton Heston is the Moses for you, then hey, live your best life. I prefer Prince of Egypt. But again, we're talking about a fake universe with a fake character that says a fake thing, and this is your line. You have no issue with within a mile of this movie theater where you're watching this fake thing. You have no problem with real hunger, real rape, real murder. You have no problem with that because you ain't saying nothing about that. You don't care about that. But Marvel Jesus, that's your line. Yikes!
It's just so. I mean, it's just so. What we live in this age of. What are we talking about? You understand? Have you ever been? I remember you done a beautiful wedding in California.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful. How many weddings have you been to in your life?
Oh gosh, at least 100.
Okay. Have anybody ever died at a wedding?
No, not at any wedding I've ever been
Got
at.
killed?
No, no one ever died.
You talking about? Okay, if that offends you, y'all better never watch the Game of Thrones universe.
Oh God.
Cause let me tell you something. Let me spoil something from you right now. Let me spoil something for you right now.
It's been years. Come on.
Let me spoil something for you right now. If you ever watch the Game of Thrones, and there's a wedding, somebody is gonna get killed.
Somebody's a lot of
so
people.
right now, don't even waste your time. If Marvel, don't even waste your time. Somebody's gonna get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many weddings you go through in real life that somebody gets killed? None. I mean, it probably in history, it probably doesn't happen, but you know.
Oh yeah, it just hasn't happened to me.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so that's
rare.
Yeah, it's enough. So it's a.
Fake.
It's fake. But here's the frustrating point as with the laughter turns. You know, Jim Jones called himself Jesus.
Yeah.
David Koresh called himself Jesus.
Yeah.
A lot of these people called themselves Jesus, and your pastor, many of you,
A lot of y'all are calling Trump Jesus.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And why y'all laughing and joking, offended by this, you might not have said it, and they might have said across the but they conduct themselves as Jesus, and you treat them like Jesus, and you say nothing, but you want to get something that you know from Jump Street that this is fictional, that this okay. If you're gonna do something, if you're a Marvel fan, if I'm gonna watch the Game of Thrones, I should understand that it's a medieval world. That I'm not going to see people campaigning for votes, and then more. I'm not going to watch Game of Thrones. He's got a campaign. No, there are kings. There's people trying to kill the king. That's it. It's monarchies. It's armies.
Right.
It's not no campaigning for votes. If you're going to watch the Marvel universe, you need to understand the word universe. This is their own created Stan Lee and people. This is created universe. They can do what they want to in their universe. See, again, it's back with Olympic. It's artistic expression. Why are you going to watch that artistic expression and they get mad about what they're expressing? Make it make sense. They saying, we got a Thor here. We got an Iron Man. We got a Spider-Man. You ain't saying that's a universe. When you walk into that theater, you walking into that universe.
Yeah.
Now, do they take some things from real universe, which Jesus, we're not saying Jesus was a true character. We understand that, but it's still a universe that they created, that they bring in something that people can connect to. Which is what. Here's what I think about. Yes, man. I'm watching. I'm thinking, well, he wants to be their savior,
right?
As Jesus in our belief system is our savior. That's how I connected to it. Now, do I connect it to Jesus in a way as far as what he did? Obviously not. But the connection is to try to get your mind to think of that I'm going to save y'all from whatever he's trying to do in that universe. Now, as you said, if I'm not into that, but I shouldn't be going to something that I know is a fake universe anyway if I don't want the fakeness of the universe. I don't want the fake. What do you... I'm watching Game of Thrones and mad because I see a beheading. Yeah.
I'm offended as a Christian. Have you met John the Baptist? Like, do you read your own Bible? Have you read Song of Solomon? You're offended by this?
If you met John the Baptist, he wouldn't have no head. You know that, right?
Have you read Song of Solomon? It reads like a raunchy romance novel.
Yeah.
You're going to sit here and tell me that this is your line.
Yes.
This is what you're going to pick. Like, it's funny. Like, it is funny. Yeah. It's hilarious to me where they're picking these lines, because this is what I'll say. These are easy lines. Mm-hmm. It's easy to get offended, and it's easy to go on TikTok and talk about how God is being mocked because Deadpool calls himself Marvel Jesus. It's a lot more difficult to go on TikTok and say God is being mocked by a government that doesn't care about its people. That ain't gonna play. Mm-hmm. Like I do it right now. I put that on TikTok right now. That's gonna get 200 plays, maybe. No one cares about that. Mm-hmm. But if I show rage and offense against some movie and I can hashtag Deadpool it, oh man, this rage is gonna make me famous, right? I'll just say it like this: church people, you're picking the easy stuff. You're picking the low-hanging fruit to be offended by. You're offended by Marvel Jesus, but you're not offended that people are losing their lives in a country just because of who they are. You're telling me you're offended by Marvel Jesus or Thor being a god in a pantheon, but you don't care about babies dying in Gaza. I mean, look at these lines you're picking.
You're not offended by a woman being told by the country they couldn't vote.
Yeah,
That you're not offended by a country telling Japanese people that citizens that they're gonna be interred. You're not offended by. So what are you offended by? Won't you get offended in real life and leave the fantasy and fiction alone?
Come to work.
It's artistic expression. People can express themselves. If you don't like that expression, it's many types of expression. Mm-hmm. Me and my wife, we have theater. We go to theater. We have season tickets to the theater. Mm-hmm. Some shows we go to, some we don't. We're not going to sit in a show mad because a show that we might think offensive to us because we'll read what it's about and see if we want to deal with it. But once we go to deal with it, it is what it is. It's artistic expression. You have this thing. I know the church want to take it from you, and you have this thing called choice.
What?
Choice. It's something that Jesus talked about. Say, choose you this day. This notion that nobody made you pay for the ticket. If you don't want to do it, but it's all about they're not offended. They want people to get offended because they want you to control your minds and to control their agenda. It's all about agenda. We want to be offended. We love to be offended. We feed off offense. We thrive off of it. It gives us life to be offended when you have a choice to go in. Nobody's making you go in that theater to watch it. And so, therefore, nobody made you watch the Olympic Games. Nobody made you do all that stuff. But we want to be offended because everybody don't express the way we want to express.
Yeah, and I've said this before. I've said it here. If you follow me on TikTok, you know I've said it there. We as white people, we really want to be a victim. I don't know where this comes. I don't know. I'm sure it occurred. We talked about this before. I'm sure it's been a long time coming, and I'm just seeing it now because everything's on social media. Mm-hmm. Like I understand that this was probably occurring long before I caught wind of it. But it's just kind of fascinating to me. We have to be the victim. I don't know why we think we need to be the victim because I'm a data guy. I'm driven by data. Mm-hmm. I just got to tell you, every person I saw. These people are crying in these TikToks. I mean, real tears, hiccup crying because someone said Marvel Jesus in a fake universe by a fake character in a movie. Crying. But I don't see you crying for Gaza. Mm-hmm. I don't see you crying for Ukraine. Mm-hmm. I don't see you crying. I don't see you crying for the starving children we have in this country. Mm-hmm. I don't see you crying for the immigrant. The things Jesus cried about. Mm-hmm. Nothing. You don't care. I preached about this today, actually. I talked about how the most beautiful story to me in the Gospels is the story of Lazarus and Jesus. Where Jesus shows up and the women are... in my mind, I picture them just beating on Jesus' chest. They're so angry with him, right? Because they believed he had the power to raise Lazarus or heal Lazarus. And now Lazarus is dead. Jesus knows in 15 minutes... he's going to wave his hand and Lazarus is going to come out this tomb. He knows that's going to happen. And he knows he has the power to do it. But he weeps with the women. Why? Why is he even crying? Yes, this is his friend, but he knows his friend's about to show back up. Why is he crying? He's crying because he's showing concern for the brokenness around him. Even though he knows he's about to fix it. But he's with them in their grief. Right? When are we going to be with people in their grief? Instead, we just want to be offended by Deadpool, who is a fake, I just have to say this again, a fake character in a fake universe on a movie screen. And this is our line. This is where we just, this and no further. But we have no problem with beheaded children in Gaza, murdered people in Ukraine, or starving children in America. We don't care about that. That is not on the line. We don't care about that. And that's when the funny turns to, I'll be honest with you, outright rage to me. Because this really isn't about Jesus. This is about you. This is about you and your power structuring and your identity politics. That's all it is. And you are using my Savior to do this, and that's infuriating to me.
And it shows you how. Here's the question that comes to mind: do these people really understand who Jesus was? Because if they really knew who Jesus was, have they studied him? Or are they going by what they've been told? If they understood who Jesus was, they would know that if you're crying for Jesus, he's not affected by this because he's beyond this world right now.
Yeah.
He is not in any type of universe. He's beyond this universe. What are you crying for?
Right.
You're not crying because something's wrong with Jesus or happened to Jesus or Jesus offended. You're crying because you've been brainwashed to cry.
Yeah.
You're crying because you've been told to be offended. You are crying because you have been brainwashed to believe that you're supposed to be some Jesus avenging angel around here, running around the culture, taking up for Jesus.
Yeah.
That's not our duty. That's not our job. Jesus doesn't need us to defend him with Marvel, the Paris Olympic Committee, the International Olympic Committee, the American government. He does not need us to defend him. He needs us to stand up for the least among us. So, like you said, what are you crying for? Because Jesus is not concerned about what some script writer in Marvel wrote and put in there. How many you're okay? I heard one. You're mad because they're abusing the name. You want to talk about abusing the name of Jesus? Won't you run the tape back or we showed you? See, I'm not even. No, you a script writer had hurt nobody. Won't you run my tape back? Who I can show you preachers in the pulpit, black folks talking about turning black, who call people the N-word, and he don't say N-word, and he says it over and over. I can show you the people say, don't stay with me, don't quit me, as he's berating his congregation. I can show you. You talking about offensive? That's offensive to Jesus.
Yeah.
That will make you weep because you are saying that you are not in a movie theater, in a pulpit, as a man of God, a woman of God, upon the values. You're clearly saying what you are, and yet you're sitting there berating people, putting people down, in many cases committing crimes, sexual abuse, abusing all this kind of abuse, right before the people. And you don't cry one tear. What you do, you cover it for them. You send them from church to church. You hide them. You put them in places, and you're offended by the movie. No, I'm going to save my energy of offense. Not about some Marvel universe, but about the real universe that we live in. And the people, the children, the widows and orphans who need my defense. They need our defense. Jesus Christ doesn't need you to get in no culture war for him.
Right.
He needs you to do what the people who can't do down here, like you say, the widows and orphans who can't fight for themselves, haven't shed one tear for God. If you said God to them, they know about this Marvel universe. What about children of God? They look at you like, what are you talking about? But you're crying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go tell Mike says, there's no crying in Marvel Universe.
There's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in Marvel Universe. We got enough tears. Let's shed some tears here.
Yeah.
And then turn to action. There's no crying in the Marvel Universe. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Tom Hanks on you, man. There's no crying. What are you crying for? This is fake. Are you serious?
This is not even real, man. Like we're getting upset over things that are not real.
Yeah.
Like,
are y'all serious?
This is happening right now.
Yeah.
But this isn't new. There's been these, like, when the movie first came out, or especially Thor, there were people. I mean, TikTok wasn't what it was when that happened, and social media wasn't being used as this platform that it is now. But even when Thor came out, Christians were like, "Oh, you're making out. Our kids are going to start worshiping the god Thor." I'm like, okay. First of all, most of them probably don't even know that Thor is actually a god in the Norse pantheon. They probably don't even know that. That's first of all. Second of all, this is a movie that is not real. Like, come on.
This is a Google fact. You can Google. You can Bing it or Google it.
It'll work on Bing.
You know when Christians have their conventions, they had these big conventions, right? Whatever, no matter
Yeah.
so-called Christian,
Sure.
hey, conventions.
When?
You know who have the most out of they have people have conventions for different organizations. Yeah, Delta, sororities. Everybody have conventions, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know the organizations that have the most downloaded porn at their conventions? It's Christians. Google it, look it up. Miss me.
Come
Miss
on,
me.
bro.
No, look it up. Google it or Bing it. You can Bing this one. Christians have the most downloaded porn than any convention goers groups, and they keep it still.
I'm not. It's funny, but I'm not surprised. Like I'm not surprised at all.
So miss me with this. Come on, fake news.
Yeah.
Miss me with this fake Olympic outrage, this transgender outrage, this dev, all this ties together. Miss me with this fake outrage.
Yeah.
Y'all miss me.
Come on.
Christian convention. Look at it. They have the most downloaded porn when they had this convention. When they go to the hotel, they have the most downloaded porns than any group that have. Because some hotels they go around and around.
Yeah.
They keep they see it.
Yeah.
So I mean, miss me with this. My point with that is, miss me with this fake. This. We protect Jesus, and Jesus needs he'll need your caretaking.
The man resurrected from the grave. He don't need nothing from you.
And he rose another man.
The man don't need you.
No. But y'all miss me with y'all fake artistic outrage. You're not outraged at artists. You just trying to put up a front before people about your fake. You're not outraged. You don't have to. If we did a show on the abuse in the church, you probably cut it off because you don't want to hear it.
Right.
You don't hear it, but you faked about this.
Yep.
You don't have time to say these people need to be held accountable. You don't want to listen to that, but you are outraged over this kind of stuff. No, you just want to be a victim.
Yeah, Shakespeare said it best. The lady doth protest too much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's just like when we talk about. I can't tell you how many pastors I've heard get up on a pulpit or write or say things, that, the LGBTQ community is responsible for all of this child rape. They'll say things like that. But then you actually go look at data, you go look at stats, you are, I think it's 28 times more likely to be sexually assaulted by a pastor than you are by anyone in the LGBTQ community.
So
man.
Look, show me the evidence. Show me the fruit. The fruit means it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Show me that before you want to start gatekeeping movies. We gatekeep everything but ourselves.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just take Deadpool. We'll have him apologize to the movie theater, and we'll just reassign him to DC. That's what we'll do, because that's what y'all do in church, right? Like, that's cool, right? That's what we do when people do horrific things to people.
Right.
In the Christian church, we just reassign them. We'll just do that.
Right.
That'll work for everybody. Absolutely ridiculous, man.
All right.
Well, again, thank you for listening, and we hope that hope we didn't laugh too much.
Yeah.
And again, I apologize to Microsoft for making fun of Bing. We're still open to sponsorships.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and do that, but if you could just give us a like, follow YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get the content. And until next time, thank you for listening.
Catch you next time.
On the real, oh yeah, this on the real. On the real, oh yeah, this on the real. You know the deal, oh yeah, you know the deal. Just keep it real, just keep it real.